Hey everyone, welcome back. I am Libby Magliolo and I'm here with Stephanie Smith, and we are talking about all aspects of career transition. So, everything from writing your resume to starting in a new role. So, today we're talking about how to hone in on your target role. So, we talked a little bit about narrowing down things on your target industry, the industry that you're going to pursue. And so now we're going to go a little bit narrower than that and talk about your target role. So hopefully you have done some work to narrow down the industries that you are pursuing. The next level down from that is once you have a list of companies, kind of industries that you're targeting, then you need to think about your function. What role am I actually going to pursue? This is important for a couple of reasons, and we touched on this in the target industry. One is just logistics. You need to narrow things down. You cannot apply to every job out there. And so if you know, okay, I'm going to be applying for project manager jobs, that narrows things down a lot. And if you know that, okay, I'm going to be applying for project manager jobs at software companies in the Chicago area, that narrows things down considerably and makes your life a lot easier. So you can prepare for those specific interviews for those, specific roles. So you're not trying to do everything at once. So we've touched on a couple of these things that I want to bring back up. But you want to think about your strengths as well as your past roles. What have been some things that you have done in your past that you enjoyed? What are some things that you're good at? You want to think about the interview. You want to think about the story that this tells in the interview. Is this a career jump that makes sense? But you also want to think beyond the interview and think, okay, is this something that I'm going to actually enjoy? Is this a good fit for me? Or is this going to be a square peg in a round hole and it's not something that I enjoy? So you want to think, is this telling a coherent story for the interview? But this is a job that you're hoping to get. So is this something that you're going to enjoy the day in, day out? Think about things like, do I want to work more on an individual basis? Do I want to work more on a team basis? And based on those answers, what is the role that's going to be right for me? So it really does help you both set yourself up for a good interview experience, but set yourself up for a next step career-wise that you're going to enjoy. So, Stephanie, I know you have thoughts on this. What would you add?
Yeah, I mean, I love all of that. The other thing that I would add that I think is so important is to know yourself. It can be, there's a big, great world out there, right? You could do anything in the whole wide world. And hopefully, if you listen to our last session, you've narrowed down to an industry that you want and what industry sort of, really lights you up. But, I think about just roles where I know I could not succeed. It does not matter how much I loved the subject matter. Like, for instance, I could never be a teacher. And I say that as a homeschooling mom, but I could never be a teacher because I'm an introvert and I can't stand in front of a class of, 20 kids and talk half the day and listen to them talk the other half of the day. Like, my head would explode. It'd just be awful. No matter how much I like kids, no matter how much I may love history and want to share that with other people, it's not a good fit. I was in public accounting before, and the big choice to make when you go into public accounting is audit and tax. Like, which would you like to do? And you need to know this before you even apply. You are applying to an audit role or a tax role, maybe an advisory role. And it's the question that everybody asks you when you're in school. So are you going audit or tax? And so many people say, I have no idea. I took an intro tax class. I took an intro audit class. I don't understand either of them. Like, the classes were fine, but I don't understand, the difference. And I guess I'll do, and then they pick one. This is where you're, talking with people in the industry gets you really far. I talked with a lot of people at a lot of networking events and found out very quickly that the audit people, might be assigned to a different client than they were tomorrow. And now they're commuting. It's going to be a 2-hour drive, and they stayed until 10 tonight and they're driving somewhere else 2 hours tomorrow. Or they're getting on a plane next week when they thought they had plans. I don't like unpredictable, In the first, 3 or 4 years that I was at my job in tax, which was the one that I chose, I think I was not in my seat, maybe a month total. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to walk to my desk every day. I lived in walking distance. I wanted to sit down, see the same people. And truthfully, the work itself, I would have loved the audit work and ended up, doing a lot of audit work on the tax side. And I love the tax work. It can all be very intellectually stimulating and work with great people either way. But the day in and day out reality would not have aligned with who I am as a person. And I think a lot of times we skip this step of this introspection of, you may or may not like this topic, but what is the reality? And is this going to fit, or are you going to burn out? And will you thrive and succeed? Like, will this really bring out the best in you? Because if you're burning out, you're not giving your best to the job. You're not going to have, the progression that you're looking for in your career. You're not going to have the favorable, feedback. You're just setting yourself up to have a much harder role. So, like a harder path forward. So, those are my recommendations, to really, really take some time, reflect on yourself, what is needed, and then talk to other people and find out what is their experience like. What is the personality of my friend who loves this job, and what do they like? And is that maybe why it would be a great fit for them, but not for me, even though we share these other things in common? So it really is, a deep introspection exercise as well. And you don't want to skip any of these steps, because it really is going to make a difference in how things play out once you land a position. So that's what we've got for today for you guys. We will be back next week with more topics on the job search, interviews, questions, all the things. So we're looking forward to joining you then, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
Bye, everybody.